In the midst of one of the darkest periods known to mankind, a German engineer named Hans Trippel had a vision completely out of the box for its time. That vision was the invention of the amphibious car, a car that can travel both on land and water. Hell-bent on achieving this vision, Hans Trippel worked endlessly on developing the first amphibious car, and by as early as 1934, he developed the four-wheel drive SG6. This car had the ability to be amphibious. However, the ruler of Germany at that time was none other than the infamous Adolf Hitler. Once Hitler caught a whiff of what Hans was doing, he recruited Hans to build these amphibious cars in Bugatti's Molsheim factory. Working away in the Molsheim factory, many of the vehicles he built were supplied to the German military. Finally, World War II reached its cataclysmic conclusion, paving a way for Hans Trippel to resume his journey of making the perfect amphibious car that could be sold to the mainstream market. A few years have passed since the war ended, and Trippel was working on a few prototypes, one being the Eurocar Alligator. However, none made it to the production line. But in 1959, Trippel's prayers were answered because Triumph, a motor company, showcased one of its newest models called Herald. Compact, light, tough, and relatively cheap with a 1,147cc engine, this checked all the boxes on Trippel's list. He saw it as a car model on which he could modify his previous prototype, the Eurocar Alligator. With the investment of the German government, Trippel, in a matter of a couple of years, re-engineered the Eurocar with the power of the Herald to make the Amphicar 770. An amphibious car that can go 70 miles per hour on land and 7 in the water, thus named 770, the Amphicar was the best car for land and water traveling at that time. Driving the rear wheels through a 4-speed manual transmission, the engine was mounted at the back end of the car. For water use, that same engine had a pair of reversible propellers at the rear specially made for water use. To accommodate the reversible propellers, there was a second gear stick which controlled the propellers to go either forward or backward. Although looking at it today in 2023, the Amphicar does seem very outdated. But for the 60s, this car was an example of innovation. With this innovation came a hefty price tag. The price tag for the best amphibious car available was $2,800. For many, this was a significant sum in the 60s, meaning that the wealthy were the primary customers. One standout customer for the Amphicar was the 36th President of the United States, Lyndon Baines Johnson. A known practical joker, LBJ was said to enjoy frightening visitors by driving them downhill in his Amphicar directly into his property's lake, all the while shouting that he had malfunctioning brakes. Most Amphicars were sold in the United States, despite being made in Germany. Some were also sold in the United Kingdom, with a total of 3,878 vehicles produced, and only 97 of them were right-hand drives. As time went by, the production of the amphibious car ceased. Decreasing sales and the inability to meet stricter US safety and emissions regulations introduced in the late 1960s were primarily responsible. While the price of the Amphicar played a part in the declining sales, another reason was the poor driving experience. Some argued that it performed better on water than on land, though neither experience was particularly enjoyable. The Amphicar was slow, with a 0 to 60 miles per hour time of a painful 43 seconds. It didn't help that the handling was equally poor, both on the road and in the water. The Amphicar was also notably heavy. Trippel insisted on using steel for the Amphicar to protect against waves. He chose extra thick steel panels, making the car rigid but also weighty, which complicated its handling. These issues meant that the ambitious plan to sell 20,000 Amphicars annually never materialized. By the early 70s, the project completely sank, and production of the Amphicar unfortunately stopped. Despite the challenges, the Amphicar leaves a legacy and a mark in history, representing a time when innovators tried to bridge the gap between road and water vehicles. In recent times, the Amphicar has become a collector's item, appreciated for its novelty and historical significance. Active clubs and communities are dedicated to its preservation, and fully restored units in pristine condition can fetch between $50,000 to $100,000. Well, that's the Amphicar, folks. I hope you found this video interesting and now have a greater appreciation for the Amphicar. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. My time is up, and I'll catch you around for the next video. Goodbye.